asked a really great question, and this is coming back around now to the vision. And he said, what does a world that works for everyone really mean? What does that mean? It's so big. It sounds so great. But what the heck does it mean when we obviously have conditions in the world that are not good for people? What does that mean for us? And so what he walked us through, and what I'm going to walk you through, is what we actually do about that in consciousness, and then we follow it in action. So we look for a condition. We don't have to look too hard. I've thought of Ukraine because so many of us are close to Reverend Barbara, and many of us have been to Ukraine. So it hurts to see those images in Ukraine and imagine what those people are going through. That world is not working for them. You know, we can say all the affirmations we want, and that world is not working for them. So what do we do with that force and that violence? What would a shift in consciousness be that would help that situation? And so what our practice could be, using consciousness and action, is to say, what would be great for them? Well, I think what would be great for them is if they had freedom of choice. And what would be great for them is if they had mutual respect for each other's points of view. You don't have to have the same point of view, but you can respect each other's points of view, and I think that would be good for them. And then any sort of idea that I have that evil is happening over there and God is absent, that really has to be changed in my consciousness. And reeling that back in and saying, right there is the work of God. Right there is the potential for grace to appear. And so we see them not as separate, but as one with us. Everybody, I don't even actually understand the sides over there. I just am knowing that I am one with the ones that are throwing the Molotov cocktails, and maybe both sides are. I don't know. But anyway, seeing there, imagining that in the midst of that, peace can emerge. Imagining that in the midst of that, mutual respect can emerge. And then say, if that is what I imagine there, do I live it here? So I imagine it there, and I live it here. And so every single day, if I am working on Ukraine, I ask myself, have I been respectful and non-judgmental? Have I expressed myself freely and really encouraged other people to express themselves freely? Have I looked for and found freedom in my world and mutual respect, and have I lifted it up and praised it? In this resort where we were, which was in Orlando, it was a Disney resort, there was a maid in the ladies' bathroom who sang at the top of her lungs Disney songs beautifully. And in the echoey chamber of the bathroom, here you would be doing your business in a stall. I've never spoken about this actually from the pulpit, but you're doing your business in a stall, and here is this angelic voice. I mean, talk about the archetype of Cinderella, just mopping and singing, mopping and singing. She got so much acclamation, so much energy from the ministers and members of this organization. She was told that was the next rising star. She was told that her prince was coming. She was told that how beautiful she was and what a gift her voice was to the world. And so that's what I'm saying about finding in the world something that works, that you're working on, and praising it, like this precious young woman was praised. And I even, texted it to Michael. I said, I told her what a wonderful voice she was. I said, isn't that from The Little Mermaid? And she said, well, yes, it is. What's your favorite Disney movie? And I said, well, I guess it has to be Mary Poppins. And then I told her about when Michael was 4 years old, he would jump on the couch to the chimney sweep song. Step in time, and then I started to cry, and then I had to hug her because the memory was so sweet, and she was so present for me. It was so God right there in the bathroom. So anyway, I have recommitted to being the promise that my life represents, and I want that from you too. I want you to recommit to the promise of seeing a world that works for everyone, doing your part, and awakening the world, every bit of humanity, to their spiritual magnificence, and refraining from saying, oh, poor them, no matter who oh, poor them is, but to say right in the midst of that is God, and right in the midst of that is empowerment and love. So will you do that with me? Creating a world that works for everyone. Okay, great. In conclusion, blessed John Waterhouse, our president. His mother-in-law died the week that this started. I mean, they went from the mom's funeral to convention. And he said in his talk, as his mother-in-law lay dying, and the nurses came in to give her palliative care, and they asked her if she wanted a chaplain. She said, oh, my daughter is a minister, and my son-in-law is a minister. And then they said, well, what do you believe? And this is what she said. We believe we can do anything, but we must do it inside first. So, let's take this in, if you would, with me. And so as I look at my life, and as I look at the circumstances, and I look at the content and the processes, some I like, many I love, and some are still a part of that shadow that I am healing. I am committed to seeing all of those circumstances with the eyes of God. So that all that I see and all that I hear and all that I feel is God.
All that I see, and all that I hear, all that I feel is God. And all that I have, all that I do, all that I am is God.
I'm committed to thinking the thoughts of God. I am committed to being the healing presence that God is. I am committed to being that essence that when people see me, they do see the face of God.
All that I see, all that I hear, all that I feel is God. All that I have,
And so as I live this way and as I become the model of what I wish everyone were in the world, as I become more loving and more forgiving, as I become more non-judgmental, as I bring all of my parts that are unskilled up into consciousness and just say, this is me, this is what I'm working on, this is who I am, this vulnerable place in me is the same as the vulnerable place in you, I become the fulfillment of my highest thoughts. And I become the promise fulfilled that I took birth to be.
All that I see, all that I hear, all that I feel, it is God. All that I have, all that I do, all that I am, is God.
There is a God where dreams come true, beautiful garden where God's grace blooms. There is a garden where everything grows, a beautiful garden love is sown. And in this place of life and love, you can do anything that you're dreaming of. There is a garden where dreams come true, garden, that garden is you. Thank you so much, Reverend Karyl. Thank you, baby.
RScP.
Allison, you You are awesome, darling. You are fabulous. You are fabulous. Yeah.
Take it in right
Oh, good. Me too. And Allison has a CD that you can take her home, so how fabulous is that? So now is the time for us to share our tithes and offerings, that which supports this precious community. So if the ushers would just come right up here, and as you prepare your gift goes to awakening humanity to its spiritual magnificence. And so this, although whatever dollars or tens or hundreds of dollars you give does go to pay the rent and the salaries here, if you infuse it with that energy that this is about raising the level of humanity to know their spiritual magnificence, it does that. So holding your gift in your hands next to your heart and realizing that all of the love in the universe is available to each one of us right now as we just open our hearts, open that physical place at the center of our body so that it becomes larger than our body, encompassing everyone around us, and letting God's love that is forever and ever and ever, never ending, always there as we need it, in the particular forms and inspirations that we need, ever available. You just infuse your money, your contribution, or that card that says you've already pledged, with that love, and know that it goes and reaches out further than we could possibly imagine. It's one of those quantum things. It just absolutely works. So I bless this, bless our giving, and I bless our receiving. And so it is. Amen. Would the ushers please receive the gifts? I am alive. I am alive. I am alive in this world. I am alive. I am alive. I am alive in this world. And I shine. And I shine. And I shine so bright. And I shine. And I shine. And I shine so bright. You are alive. You are alive. You are alive in this world. You are alive. You are alive. You are alive in this world. And you shine. And you shine. And you shine so bright. And you shine. And you shine. And you shine so bright. One more. We are alive. We are alive. We are alive in this world. We are alive. We are alive. We are alive in this world. And we shine. And we shine. And we shine. And we shine so bright. And we shine. And we shine. And we shine. And we shine. And we shine so bright. So I bless this offering today. I bless the rest of our day. And may it be that the commitment we have made is shown in our lives in the moments to come. Not in the days or weeks to come, but in the moments where we know that we are contributing to creating a world that works for everyone by our own consciousness and our own actions. And so it is. Amen. So I'm going to ask Janet to come up and pray us out, invite the practitioners that are on duty today. Thank you.
So as the practitioners come forward, I want to extend the invitation to you. If you'd like to be reminded of the truth of your being and the promise that you are, avail yourself of a prayer, of affirmative, spiritual mind treatment with one of these master practitioners. And the entire practitioner corps that is available is surrounding the room even now, as we each and all remember the truth that we are here now and always immersed in the ever-present, unconditional, unbound love of the divine. And as I speak this word, I know that there is one power, one presence, one infinite source that is ever and always being itself in this manifest universe as love, as sustenance, as creativity, as joy, fulfillment. And it pours itself into being by means of each and every one of us. Therefore, I know that I am the incarnation of the living Spirit. And as such, I am heir to the kingdom, that all that is possible is available to me in my connection with God. And as I know this for myself, I know it for each and every one of us, that God is the source, the substance, and the supply of all that we are, all that we desire to be, all that we are evolving into as the promise fulfilled. And so I give thanks for this expression, here and now. Any barrier that may have appeared to be is now released as we step up even more into the fulfillment of our true nature. I give thanks for this, the ways in which this is flowing and evolving and being itself more than ever before, right here, right now. As I release this word into the law of mind, I know it is nurtured, supported, and blossoms forth as the garden, here and now. And so it is. Blessed be.
So I think what we'll do is leave 4 rows of chairs up for helping each other succeed. And so another thank you to all of those angels that we have never organized to put the chairs away, but they all get put away. Thank you once again. Leave these 4 rows up so that we can have our meeting. And if this appeals to you, please stay. But right now, I'd like to invite you to stand for our affirmation and closing song. Right up here. I am a promise to life, a promise to give all that I came to earth to give. I follow the urgings of Spirit, and I let God use me for the greatest good for all. I, therefore, become a promise fulfilled.